thank our sponsor, Parati's Quality Meats, located in Cranford, New Jersey, serving customers all over New Jersey for the past 50 years. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Coach's Talk, presented by the Shore Football Report. And today we have Monmouth Falcons head football coach, Coach Dan Wendell. Coach, thanks for coming on the show this morning.
Coach, thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this. It's been great watching you go through this process.
Yep. Yeah, we're having a lot of great feedback from everybody that has come on our show, Coach, and it'll be no different from your program. The fan base, coaches, other coaches are watching you guys do. I think that a lot of people are starting to get to know the coaches who are on the program. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, it's been good watching, seeing some other things from different programs and seeing some guys and what they're doing, which has been great.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Let me introduce you first, and then you're gonna take the floor. Coach Wendell's the head football coach at Monmouth High School for the third season this season. Prior to that, you were at Neptune as the quarterback and OC for 1 year, correct?
Correct.
And before that, you were at Donovan Catholic, coaching for them with their new staff at the time, Coach C, for 1 year as a special teams coach and the quarterback coach, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And then you started your coaching career at Monmouth, where you are right now, as an assistant coach for 10 years, where you were multiple responsibilities, freshman coach, a special teams coach, and eventually the offensive coordinator for Coach Mosca. Correct?
Correct, yep.
Yes. Let's get right into the process where you take the floor, Coach, and you talk about how you became a head football coach at Monmouth High School right from the days when you first started playing football. So take us through those steps.
All right, thanks, Coach. I've been kind of lucky over my playing career and coaching career. I've been around a lot of great guys. I played high school football at Monmouth Regional High School under Bob Marola, who's an assistant at Brick Memorial right now. On that staff, I've been around a lot of great guys. Jerry Schulte was an offensive coordinator there for my last 2 years in high school. Ted Jarmus, who was a baseball coach at Monmouth Regional for years, has won a lot. Joe Pingator and Carmen McDonough. So high school, I was around a lot of guys that had experience and have done some things throughout. So I was lucky to be around those guys and be mentored by them. After high school, I went to play William Patterson under Larry Arrico. My career ended short. I blew up my ACL 2 years in a row. But then they kind of took me in, which gave me a different aspect that I wasn't really thinking about when I went to college, of the coaching part of it. So I got to hang out in the office a little bit, see that part of things and how that worked. Coach Arrico had left after my sophomore year. Going to my junior year, Mike Miello, who's a big coach up in North Jersey. He was the high school football coach of Greg Schiano.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually on Schiano's staff before he came to William Patterson. I got to hang with him a little bit, see how he did things. He was very structured. He brought a whole different mentality of how he did things. It was kind of interesting to see how he handled the program and things that he did and things that he brought from Rutgers that he saw when he was there with Coach Schiano. When I graduated, I had the opportunity to come back to Monmouth Regional as a phys ed teacher, and I got hired by Coach Spompanato. Sal was a great guy, taught me a lot of things, especially gave me an opportunity, which is the most important thing. You can't do anything without the first opportunity. Mm-hmm. So he hired me as his freshman coach the first year. Got to get my feet wet a little bit into the coaching world. After that, moved me up into the varsity where I was coaching the D-line, the receivers, and special teams coordinator for the next 3 years under him. After that, Jason Morrell was the head coach. Moved to coaching the quarterbacks and still the D-line. Had the opportunity to coach with him for 2 years. He went back to West Deptford, where he was from, and then got to coach.
And doing quite well over there, Coach.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
We played them in the state playoffs a couple of years ago. He's doing quite well. Yeah.
Yeah, he took over for Coach Folsom, which was a mentor of his for years, and I got to meet him, which he's another great guy. And then I got to coach under Coach Rich Mosca. Coach Mosca is one of those guys that that's kind of where I think I kind of took a turn from where my coaching really began because of
Mm-hmm.
how he is. He's an infectious guy, loves the game. You could hear him from all over the place. He's just one of those guys that he gave me the opportunity where I was able to meet a lot of guys through him. It gave me experiences that, I didn't have prior to, which was kind of cool. We got to go to a lot of different spring balls. He had connections through his years in coaching in college that were pretty cool. We got to hang out with the guys over at Monmouth University. Sean Gleason, who's now with Rutgers, was actually his OC when he was at Fairleigh Dickinson. So it was kind of cool to meet some of those guys, see, be able to pick their brains a little bit, see some the great football minds out there.
Mm-hmm.
When Coach Mosca decided to leave, I had an opportunity with Coach Curcione to go out there and kind of test my ability to coach a little bit. He hired me as his quarterbacks coach and special teams coordinator, which is another great staff to work under with him, Coach Labarca, Coach Listowski. Great guys to be around, great football guys, just great people, inside out, knowing the game on and off the field with those kids. From there, I had to move a little bit back closer to home. I got an opportunity with Coach Holman, which actually reunited me with Coach Mosca, so it gave me one more year with him. So it was kind of cool in 2018 to be with Coach Holman. Another great staff, a bunch of great guys, see how different programs run in different schools, a lot of tradition. It was awesome to be able to coach in that Thanksgiving Day game, that rivalry between Neptune and Asbury.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely a tradition. It was cool to see how everything.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was an experience. There's certain things that you look in life that you get an experience to have to do, and to be able to say I got to coach in one of those games, that tradition, that rivalry, that was pretty cool. That was an awesome experience. I mean, it was freezing that day. I think it was like negative 10 degrees outside, but you know what? The place was packed. It was a lot of fun, and we were lucky to come out on top and win that game. So that was a lot of fun. And then Monmouth opened back up, and it was a place I always wanted to be at. I thought I had to test myself, and that opportunity when Coach Mosca left, I felt would be the only time where I'd be able to kind of go out and expand myself a little bit, make more connections. And when this opened back up, I had to put back in. It was one of the places, I wanted to always be. I went to high school here. I coached here. And I felt that the time I had when I left gave me, a little bit more time to learn, grow, and get ready for my experience and, hopefully a long tenure as the head coach of the Monmouth Falcons.
Coach, I mean, I love listening to your coaching tree. I know quite a bit of those coaches. Coach Mosca. I know L.J. Clark speaks the world of Coach Mosca. Yes, Coach Curcione, Coach Labarca, Coach Helstowski, guys that I've grown up through the coaching ranks with them. I have a lot of respect for those guys too. So, you're taking a little of everybody and bringing that stuff back to your program right now. Would you say that happened?
Oh, absolutely. The stuff I was able to learn from all those guys and see and watch and, absorb why they go through things was a huge, huge growth in my ability as the coach I am today. Each one of those guys has made me who I am today. I've learned something from everyone, which is, priceless. You can't put a price tag on that kind of stuff when, you're going through the grind every day and you're seeing how people go through things and, how they adjust and what they do in their programs and how they make things better and how they grow. And, that's a huge thing. And, I had an opportunity that, I don't know if it's good or bad, but, Donovan was winless the year before. We came in and won 4 games. Neptune was winless the year before. We came in and won 5 games. So to have that kind of experience, to see a program grow from the ground up and kind of readjust itself and, maybe take a different path, was kind of cool for me to see, how people go through that process, what the steps they take, how it starts to build from that ground up as we continue to go through it.
And we got to play you when you were playing at Donovan in your first game with Coach Curcione at our place. With that was a big game. It was on the red zone. It was game of the week, all that stuff. Knock on wood, we won. So, but that was still a good game with 2 good teams and all that stuff. Coach, I find it very interesting, your story, how you started at Monmouth as a football player and then came back to be a head coach, and also on the way you were assistant coach. You came full circle. How was that? How was that looked at with all your teachers in the school and all there? I'm sure they were pretty excited, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I first came back, there were a lot of teachers that I had that were still in the building, so it was kind of cool to see them from a different side. And then obviously as I've grown as a teacher, professional, and one of their colleagues now,
right.
It's kind of cool to be on that side. The support in the building's been great. They're for everything that we do. We try and do a lot of things that, include them and incorporate them as much as we can into practices and games and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool to see on this side, we were in college, there was a group of us that said, we get back, this is something we've always wanted to do, is come
Right.
back, run the program, or have an opportunity to run the program. And 2 out of the 3 of us that were sitting in that room were able to do it. Our other friend is overseas working, but 2 of us have accomplished that goal.
That's awesome. I mean, just picture yourself as a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, and you're not thinking at the time, I'm going to come back here and be a head coach. So whatever you did on the way, you didn't burn any bridges. You don't have these thoughts in your administration's head that you were, not mature enough or being able to take on what you did. So it says a lot about how you were. When I hear that you're the head coach of the school that you went to school, it says to me that you did it right when you were younger. So whoever raised you, with your coaches, your family, all that stuff, kind of did a great job with that stuff. It's always putting a penny in the bank every day, and you cashed in at the right time and you won the job. That's awesome. It says a lot about you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Had a tough mom and a tough grandfather. So
great, Coach. Thank you for the process. That was really a good story. All right, Coach. Let me rip this mask off and throw it. I'm sick of the COVID, wearing mask. I'm sick of hearing all the negativity, all the bad stories of the COVID. You know as well as I do, us football coaches we're the most flexible coaches in the country, not just in the short conference, but everywhere. We have to go through a lot of different obstacles to get what we want to get done. And one of the obstacles this year was COVID and trying to get a football season. I just want to hear something positive that you and your staff learned about the COVID season with your football program.
I think the biggest thing for us was our ability to connect with each other. We found different ways, through Zoom, text messages, FaceTime, all that kind of stuff where, we were able to, as a staff, become more efficient through the Zoom part of it. We're cutting out all that time of driving back and forth. And then as the players, we found multiple ways where we can connect with these kids through Google Classroom, Zoom, you name it, text group messages, group FaceTime, whatever it was, just to kind of get them together. So our ability to connect and kind of grow as a program as far as building those bonds that way, I think was a huge benefit for us. It kind of gave us a chance to kind of, pump the brakes when, when we first jump in, there's a lot of things going on. And to have that chance to kind of sit there, slow things down a little bit, rewind it, kind of really go into things and get a little bit more detailed, I think helped us a lot. That ability to connect with each other on different levels is huge. Yeah,
Coach, communication was the key. And listen, if we didn't have COVID, you and I wouldn't be on here talking right now, because I didn't even know this happened, this type of Zoom stuff. But apparently it's in the business world for a couple of years, So when the COVID came out and then we had to do stuff online, everybody started getting nervous. Oh, my God, how am I going to communicate and this and that? But we learned. And we taught ourselves. I'm going to tell you a funny story about Zoom. So in the off season, during the COVID, I decided to do clinics. So I started out by doing people that I knew. People would send me their emails, and I would, put their stuff in and give them their code, and that's that. And I started getting around 50, 60 people, and it was cool. I started getting greedy, and I wanted to get more. So what I did was I put the code for my Zoom on my Twitter, and I sent it out. Well, when you send out your Zoom identification, you don't know who's coming in. I got hijacked. Coach, I had like 100 and something people, no problem. Then all of a sudden, I was hijacked. And when you're hijacked, they take over and they distract everybody. They say not nice things. And here I have 95% of the people there probably that really wanted to hear me talk. And I had to shut it off. I had to tell them, all right, guys, I'm going to send you personally all of the thing. And from that point on, I was a little bit more secretive with Zoom. I went to Google Meet. I got nervous. I never did Zoom again, just because I never wanted to get hijacked. I was a little nervous with that stuff, but it is something new to us coaches, and you have to venture out to, to experiment with the new technology. To us, it's new. See, we're talking new, and you got business people laughing at us going, where have you been for a couple of years? But we kind of do things face to face. That's in our profession of what we do. But that was a pretty awkward day for me, but luckily I was surrounded by people I knew. They laughed, they giggled, and we went back on and we redid it again. But the kids were very resilient all over the place. They really were. Very proud of everybody.
Big time. I mean, the ability for as many teams that were able to get through the season and play as many games as we had, we did. I think in the short conference overall, we really didn't have very many shutdowns. There weren't a lot of teams scrambling for games, which was good. It's a testament to the communities, the kids, the parents, to make sure they stay on top of all that stuff. So we were able to have the experience that we had throughout the season.
And the one great thing about the short conference is we all communicated with each other to see how everybody's going. I really, truly believe that this year there really was more openness into, hey, I tried this. It worked. What do you think of this? And I think that we kind of learned from each other because we were in it together, this COVID thing. That's the one thing, not just us and our kids, but all the programs.
Oh, yeah. The big thing was, everyone's involved. It affects everybody. So if we're all on the same page and we all work together, collectively, we're a much stronger group than we are individually. So,
yeah. Well,
it's cool to see all that stuff.
Coach, that's great to hear that you guys learned a lot, and through communication, Zoom, texting. I do not do Snapchat. That's the one thing. These kids go, "Hey, Coach, for my kids, I have to Instagram message them. I have to text them. I have to, because they all have different platforms. But I do not do Snapchat. I don't understand how you can take a picture and then it disappears. Why does it disappear? That's scary, Coach. That's scary. Why would us coaches want to send something that it's going to disappear? If that's what Snapchat is, but there's no Snapchat with me.
The biggest things we use are the Instagram account we have, the Twitter account. Actually, the Band app has been a huge thing for us. That's helped us because that's like one platform. I don't know if you've used it, Coach, but it has a calendar on it. You see who's read the messages. Mm-hmm. It goes out to, we have separate accounts for our parents, for our players, our freshman team. And literally everyone in the entire program gets a message in 30 seconds. So,
well, I'm old school. My coaches, and Coach Covian's going to learn this real soon, that my kids showed up to practice all the time, but I had to do like 3-4 different platforms because I have them in group messages and all. Well, he's not on Twitter, but he's on Instagram, but he's not here. My phone's dead. I don't have a phone. It's amazing how people don't do text messages, but they'll respond to Instagram. Instagram's funny. You put one picture on there and 1 billion people like it. You put words on it, nobody looks at it. It's like these kids, and you know what? Who's no different? The coaches. Like, seriously. If you give them a letter, they won't want to read it. But if you just have a picture with maybe a little quote on the top, oh, that was awesome. They'll click it. So you never know where you stand with these guys. And that's everybody. So today we just like looking at pictures, and that's it. That's it.
It's how fast can we get it done, right?
That's why, Coach, I'm doing this platform right here, the Short Football Report. I'm not going to be writing a lot of articles. I'm going to talk. That's what you rather see. You rather sit there. You don't want to read. Just feed me the material. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, Coach, that's a great take on your program. Coach, now you're going to talk 2021 Monmouth Falcons high school football schedule. And then on the right-hand side, it's the newly formed national division that you're going to be playing some different teams. So right now, start with the schedule, and you and I will chime in with the divisions. Go ahead.
So we open up on Thursday night, week 0 against Manchester. We feel it's going to be a really good game. They're coming off the year last year. They have some players coming back.
They're going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Coach Wilkes got them going in a direction. They have a great staff. In seeing where they went to from before to what he was able to accomplish last year. The players they have coming back. So that's going to be a big opener for us. Then we move into our home. Week 1 against Pinelands. We played them last year. We were actually able to squeak that one out. We actually went into that game with not having a quarterback who could throw. Our quarterbacks both had broken hands. And the other one had a dislocated shoulder.
That's not very good, Coach. Yeah.
No, I think it was the fastest game ever played between us and Pinelands because I think there was 3 passes the entire game.
Right.
We were lucky enough to squeak that one out. So we get them back at home again this year. The next week we move on to we're at Keensburg. Keensburg is going to be another tough game. They have a lot of players coming back. Coach Bird does a great job with those guys up there. So that's going to be a tough one for us that we're looking forward to. After that, we go back down to Lakewood, which we played last year. They squeaked it out in the end, so we're looking to kind of come back and rectify that a little bit. Next week we go up to Keyport. Coach Glesman does a great job with those guys up there. They have DJ Thompson's back. They have some kids that can do some things, and we're looking forward to that game against Keyport. And then the next week we go down. We're home. We get a home game against Point Beach, and again, another team that does a lot of great things, well coached, tough kids. So we'll see how that goes that week, and then following week we play against Point Borough. We've had some battles over the last 2 years with Point Borough. Coach Saab does a great job down there. Tough kids. And after that, we go into the pod play. The pod play is going to be interesting. I thought it was kind of cool how they did that last year to kind of create, a tournament for football without having a tournament. You look at all the other sports that have that ability, and then to have this kind of happen, COVID kind of brought that to light where we can kind of do something like this, which, makes it interesting to kind of have, one, to honor different people as, I guess past coaches are going to be the names of each pod, and, kind of create a short conference champion, which is going to be nice. And then,
well, the pods is something new to us coaches. We can't you really can't prepare for those games like you do the other weeks, meaning you don't have film on teams right now because you don't know who you're playing. So you get handed a 2-week schedule, and then you have to get all the film and break it down. So it is a little uncomfortable for coaches if you're really trying to be very detailed with your scouting. So it's tough. But looking at your schedule, Coach, we'll talk about your division in a second, but your two non-divisional games, Manchester and Point Borough, are going to be one of the better teams in the Patriot. You got Manchester's got some 5 guys back that made all division. Their main guy, Savon Myers, the quarterback, dynamic 6'5", 220-something pound quarterback. And then Point Borough, they got a good group of guys back, a loaded junior squad, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Patriot. That's a pretty solid schedule for you, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to it. Our kids are looking forward to it. They, coming off of last year, our big thing is just to continue to build. We want to continue to compete against other teams. We want to continue to get better. I mean, the one cool thing about our schedule is that, every week is different. We're going to face different kind of defense and different kind of offense, so schematically, it gives us a challenge. It's, it's a fun thing to look forward to and prepare for. And, the kids are excited because, we're playing different teams. We're, experiencing going different places and, get that chance to battle each week and do something different, which, it's exciting.
Now let's talk different teams that you're playing. The newly formed National Division has 3 new teams in it, and you're one of those new teams. The traditional teams are Point Beach, Keensburg, and Keyport, and now the 3 new teams are Lakewood, Pinelands, and the Falcons of Monmouth. So let's go right through each team briefly and just talk about it. Keensburg, I would say that from a lot of people's – first of all, if you go top to bottom, I don't think I can predict the exact order because there's so much equality in that division. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. The one thing about this division, when you look at it, you have a lot of great coaches. You have, a lot of programs that are building and continue to get better every year. And, what it builds is, that ability to sit there and compete and have these kids have a chance. And when you look at it, Keensburg, Coach Bird, he does a great job up there.
Yeah.
He's got, the opportunity. The one thing that we can say about this division is that we've played everybody at least once in the past 2 years, minus Point Beach. So we've kind of seen everybody. Most of these guys I've kind of known for years now, so it's kind of cool to get an opportunity to compete against them. And they do a great job. Like I said, Keensburg, Coach Bird, he's got a great thing going up there. He's got those kids going. They compete year in and year out. I think, what was he last year? Group 1 School of the Year, or one of those, something like that. So, he's continued to get those kids to believe. Keyport with Coach Glesman. Coach Glesman's done a great job. We've had the opportunity where, we've scrimmaged him in the past, and then we actually played them last year. He's another one. A lot of tradition up there. those kids play hard, they play tough, and they want to compete. Lakewood with Coach Clark. LJ, I've had the opportunity through Coach Mosk. I've known him for some years now. He's another one. He gets those guys going. They've got some dynamic talent coming back. They have some kids that can do some stuff that, at any moment, any kid can break. And, it changes the game very quickly.
Yep.
Pineland's Coach Fuller, he came up here last year and, he's got a big team. They've got some kids that can do some stuff. They're physical, they're big, they pound it out, they run something that's a little bit different. So, kids
they're going to be a different style for everybody.
Yeah, and he's got those kids going. They believe in it. They work hard. They do what they're supposed to do. So it's going to be interesting. And then Coach Cohen with Point Beach, looking at his first year down at Point, where he turned them around. They did a lot of great things. They made the playoffs. They had some players that do some good stuff. They were tough kids. It's going to be interesting, because you can't just sit there and say there's one team that's going to just pop out, because they're going to be tight games. They're going to be close games.
Coach, I'm going to add one more team you didn't talk about because it's yours, but the Monmouth Falcons. I mean, looking at them in the 7-on-7 when you came down to Barnegat, I got a chance to see Monmouth and Keyport play in there, and you have some guys that I really are anxious to hear about in the next couple minutes, because you got guys that can run, you got guys that can catch, you have some good guys on the perimeter. I think that you guys are going to present a lot of problems to the teams in the national division. You really are.
I mean, we're excited about these kids. They've worked very hard. It's still sort of a young group.
Yep.
Some of these kids have been playing varsity football since their freshman year. It's our bigger class is our junior class, so these kids just continue to grow, and we're excited to watch them as they've worked hard all year.
Yeah, Coach, this is going to be. Oh, I'm sorry, but this is going to be a very interesting year. I think it's easier to pick the Kentucky Derby front six than it is to pick the National Division front six. That's what I tell people, because I'm looking at all you guys: Beach, Pinelands, Monmouth, Lakewood, Keyport, Keensburg. Whew. I mean, whoever's hot, whoever gets a break here or there, Lady Luck included, is going to be utilized to pick out the final order of finish for these guys. Exciting, Coach. That's a great take on your schedule and your division.
Thank you.
Okay, Coach. Now this part is what makes us head coaches look good. It's your assistant coaches. They are the glue to the football program. You know it. I know it. We all know that. Now it's time to get their names out there to everybody. Please give us a list of your football coaches in the Monmouth Falcons football program.
This is a great group of guys. Most importantly, they care about the kids. They're there for the kids, which is the most important part. I wouldn't want any other group with me. They're a great group of guys to be around. Spend a lot of time together. We've known each other for a long period of time. It's kind of great to have that continuity with them. The first guy, which is one of those guys I brought up earlier, we were sitting there watching college football playoff. We were in college trying to figure out if we were ever going to come back here. It was Jason McQuay. Jason McQuay is our defensive coordinator. Unbelievable guy, great with kids. He played at UTEP. He had a great college career himself. Just a great guy to be around. Psychology major. Has done a lot with our kids. He's been around. Played with them in high school. I've coached them for probably well over 10 years now. Just a great guy to be around. Next kid is I call him a kid. It's weird for me because I actually coached him. Is Malik Wiggins. Just graduated from Stonehill 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
This is his second year coaching with us. Unbelievable energy. A technician in the secondary. He's a great guy to have around. And we're actually lucky enough, and for him it's an experience too, because last year 3 of his brothers were on the team. This year 2 of his brothers, because Keontae graduated last year. But great to have him on the staff. Next is Cliff Warwick. He's our offensive line, defensive line coach. A lot of experience, even at different states. Coached in North Carolina, coached in Maryland. We're lucky to have him. A great guy to be around. Great with the kids. The next guy is Billy D. Williams. Graduated from Neptune, was a standout at Neptune. Actually played for Coach Mosca in college. Unbelievable guy to have around. Works real hard. Does anything we need to. He's actually our big fundraising guy. He helps us with all the fundraisers. He takes care of all that stuff.
Really?
Has a ton of ideas all the time. So, it always finds ways to make things happen, which is great. Next is Jeff Fraga. He's also one of our O-line, D-line guys. He was a graduate of Monmouth Regional. I actually coached him his senior year. So my first year coaching was his last year in high school. So I've known Jeff and his family for a while. He's actually our head basketball coach. So it's kind of that great transition where we get to go from football into basketball.
Right.
So he's done a great job with us over the past years.
Mm-hmm.
Our freshman coaches, Rob Michelici, who's been around, graduated from Toms River South. He's actually our head wrestling coach. He's been in the program for years now. He's great with the freshman kids. He gets them ready for the next year. He kind of transitions them well from middle school into high school and gets them ready for their varsity experience. Our next freshman coach is Anthony Garino. He's been in the community for years. I've known him for a very long time. He's a Pop Warner guy for years. He helps us out. He's a great transition for those kids also from the middle school into the high school. He's a huge addition for us. He's great on game days. He does a lot for our program. And then I can't not forget our volunteers. Dom Merlaga he's a part of the Navy. He's stationed out in Pearl. So when he gets a chance to come over, he kind of brings a different aspect, which,
Mm-hmm.
Monmouth Regional was a big military town military school for years with Fort Monmouth. So it's kind of nice to have that ability to bring him back in where we kind of still get that military experience that, happened for such a long period of time here. I think until 2010, I think it was our last year, we actually had a huge amount of military kids here. Val Barnaby, a huge person to have around. He's been great. He's the owner of ESSA. He played at Rutgers, played in the NFL. So that experience that he brings to us and, that knowledge was,
Mm-hmm.
Great to have him around. And then our last volunteer is Andrew Facone. He's more of our video guy. He's coached at high school football. He's been around. He just loves being around football. He just wants to be around it any way he can. Does a lot of video stuff for us, helps us, tape scouting, stuff like that. Does breakdowns. So he's a great addition. And then, probably one of our most important guys is our trainer, Adam. He's been unbelievable. Does a lot of things with the kids. Comes in the weight room, make sure they're doing stuff. He's got a big background in strength and conditioning as well. So he's always checking in on the kids, making sure we're getting stuff where they need to be. He was a college trainer for years, so he kind of brings that, to us, which is kind of cool because he's, heavily involved, which is nice. He's always around. He always popping in.
Yeah.
Kids know exactly who he is, and and he's brought a lot of things to us that haven't been done in the past. The way he can test for concussions and stuff like that is huge because he could do all those things that he brought from the college level down to the high school level, which has made us all better.
Right. Coach, I was interested in how you brought up your trainer because there were some years my trainer was voted MVP. I mean, we had so many injuries. But you're right. The trainers sometimes are kind of like not talked about unless you need them, but they're very, very important people out there. Your video guy, to me too, my guy, I mean, he was with me for 18 years and he's not, when I step down, he's not doing it anymore too. So everybody's like, oh my God, the train, like you're just like, you're going to have their preseason report at Barnegat. His biggest missing people is, the video guy. I thought it was interesting that you have some youth in your coaching staff. It's very important to bring those guys up. Coach, during the COVID, any one of us, and that could have included the coaches, I met with my coaching staff and I said, guys, everybody here needs to be ready to be the next man up because at any time, if any of us had symptoms of these things for a practice or game, the next guy has to come in. So I had to prepare somebody to be the next head coach. I had to prepare people to be able to call plays on both offense and defense, special teams. I had to be able to have people learn offensive line in case this coach was gone and new guys had to come in because the show must go on. You know that? So it forced all of us to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And at any time, anything can happen. So my coaches knew chain of commands that if Coach Davis was gone, this guy's the head coach, this guy's calling the offense and that stuff. So I was very proud of my staff this year. specifically just because that they kind of elevated their game, and now now the whole staff is back. I'm only gone, and they've had a lot of pertinent experience during this season. So, did you see your staff grow this year too during the COVID?
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time where we all made sure that everyone knew every detail that was going to happen, so that way everything would run smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing that I made sure that happened was on Sunday we made sure that for the course of the week that everyone knew the exact plan of what would happen every single day, whether didn't matter what position coach you were, what was that focus for that group for that week, so that way if we had to make an adjustment, we made that adjustment. And the biggest thing as coaches, you got to adapt all the time. You may have a plan 1 minute, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen the next. So, that ability that we took that time, which I think Zoom helped us because let's face it, we were in quarantine. There wasn't very much to do. So, we were able to dive in a little bit more, become a little bit more detailed with each person of what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Made us all better because we were all able to learn from what, everyone else was saying. We had each other kind of go through that stuff a little bit. And then, we were ready if it had happened, that we knew who that next person was going to be. And, at any given time, any one of us could have stepped up to do what they needed to do, because realistically, the most important thing was we had to be prepared to make sure the kids had their best chance to succeed and, have a positive experience.
Yeah, I mean, as a head football coach, you got to understand that during the COVID season, everybody was uncomfortable. So we had to make sure that everybody was comfortable being uncomfortable. And it just makes it easier when you see your coaches actually taking it to another level. It really kind of makes you your job a lot easier because you're dealing with issues too at home too, as well as everybody else. So, Coach, that was pretty good take on your coaching staff. I'm looking forward to seeing him coaching the 2021 season. Okay, now we're going to talk 2021 Monmouth Falcons football team. Before you do that, Coach, just tell us what you guys run offensively and defensively, and then talk about those kids that you were smiling ear to ear about that are coming back for this season. Go ahead.
Offensively, we're a spread team. I like to get in multiple formations, and then defensively, we're a 4-2-5. As far as our returners, as far as seniors that are coming back that have been around with us, first is Lucas Posteris, great kid.
Good-looking kid.
Yeah, 6'4", 240. He's put on some good weight. He's been, working real hard in the weight room.
Coach, the thing I like about him is his hands, and you're going to watch it. I have his clip on this interview. One-handed catch, but he's a big, big target. And I've had a couple Division I tight ends in my program, and it's important. If you can own that middle of the field with some type of replace routes with a tight end, you got the dude to do that.
Yeah, he's an athletic kid. He's done a lot of good things. He's gotten much, much better as he's progressed. He works very hard.
Yes.
Football's something that he loves. His other counterpart at tight end D-line is Nelson Harris Thomas.
Yeah.
He comes back and joins us. He's an athletic kid. He's another tall. I think he's 6'3", 6'4", so we have two tall tight ends, which is a good thing to have.
Oh, yeah.
Next is Frankie Harris Thomas, which is Nelson's twin brother. He's a safety for us and a receiver. Dynamic kid, very athletic, can do a lot of things. Gerald Wiggins, physical corner, great receiver. He's a great kid.
How many Wiggins did you have in your program?
Last year we had 3, 4 if you count the coach.
Wow. Take care of that family.
Yes, they are a great family. Known them for years now.
Yes.
Love them to death. So, it's great having him back. And that's for our seniors that are coming back. Then we have some rising seniors that, we're excited about. Phil White, Brandon Lagon, Jonathan Wiedelman. Those kids worked real hard in the offseason. We're looking for them to do some big things coming up. And Aiden Ray, sorry. Our junior class.
Coach, your junior class, you played our junior class at Barnegat, and our Barnegat team was pretty good when they were in middle school, and you beat them when they were freshmen. So that level of play, I want to hear some of those names because they really impressed me, your coaching staff and also the players when they came there and beat us 2 years ago.
The first kid is Julian Jones. Actually didn't play on that team because he was up with us. He's been a 3-year varsity kid.
Right.
He's done a lot of great things for us. we're excited for him because, now he's going to become more of that workhorse on the offensive side. But he's a great kid, works real hard. Obviously excited to have him back as a junior. We actually have him for 2 more years now. Anthony Jen got a little bit of time at quarterback last year. Like I said, he got hurt, but he's back better than ever. Worked real hard this offseason. He's done a lot of good things. He's done pretty well in these 7-on-7s that we had so far. So we're excited.
Looks like he's been working out too. So
yeah, he put on some good weight.
Yeah, noticed that.
So we're excited for him. Lucas Bontempo, a 2-way lineman for us. Again, we brought him up towards the end of his freshman year. Explosive kid. Actually runs the 100 in the track.
Really?
Yeah, so he's one of those kids that we're excited to see continue to grow as he continues his process through high school. He's done a lot of good things. Tahaj Wiggins actually was top 5 in the short conference in blocks for basketball. Tall kid, 6'3", he's a receiver. He made an unbelievable catch 2 weekends ago. We're excited to see him continue to grow as a football player. Another kid who's, he's a big corner. He's a physical corner. He's
6'3" corner, huh?
6'3", so it's and he could do some things. He can move, so it's exciting to see him watch him grow.
Wow, good.
Eric Crossley, he's like the quarterback of our defense. He's our Mike linebacker. Plays a little bit of H-back for us on offense. Smart kid, knows exactly what he's doing. Dissects things very quickly. He's very athletic. Another kid who's done an unbelievable job in the weight room. I think he might have missed for one time this entire offseason. So he's another kid who plays basketball. So the good thing about this group, too, is they're multi-sport athletes, which is important. Nick Heisman, we're excited about him. He showed some things as a sophomore on the offensive and defensive side. We're happy to have him back, healthy, ready to go. And Brendan Convery, he's a kid that, another kid we brought up when he was a freshman. He flies around, high energy kid. You'll definitely hear him. He's ready to go. He's flying around, does everything we ask him to do. So those are a lot of the kids who returned, but there's a lot of kids that, we had a big senior class last year that we graduated. So there's a lot of kids that we're looking to do some things that we're all excited about because they worked extremely hard this offseason. So, I don't want to say all their names right now because
right.
It's a long
you're going to hear them during the season. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to hear them during the season. So we're excited about those kids coming up and, their opportunity to make a splash, which is exciting for us.
Coach, one question. What's your numbers like for varsity this year and then for freshmen?
For varsity, we're 10 through 12, we're at about 45.
Okay, that's a good number.
Yeah, and the freshmen, we're at about 15.
Okay, that's about the average, maybe a little bit, with that. Coach, the thing I really was impressed about you guys, because we played you for a couple of years, and you had a couple seasons you didn't, your record wasn't reflective of what you wanted it to be. But your kids' morale with your coaches was the thing that scared me because it was always upbeat. And the people in the stands were always excited, no matter who you're playing, what the score was, if it's raining, it's sunny, administration, the atmosphere there is one of the best. And I'm going to say it's probably the best in that division because going and scouting there, it was like, holy smokes. Everybody was so positive and rooting hard for those guys, no matter what the score was, what part of the game it was incredible. It really was.
I mean, we have great parent support. We have an unbelievable parents club. They do a lot for us. And they work extremely hard. And then the school, the kids, everyone gets behind each other. It's one of those things that we're trying to build. Those are one of the things, you have to build there first in order to build everything else. So to have them do all of those things and, make that day like an event, and that's the kind of the cool thing about it because it is a Saturday, it's not Friday night.
Yeah.
So they're making Saturdays an event. They want to make it where everyone can have a good time, and as we continue to get better, hopefully it gets better and makes that event even more bigger. So that's always the goal, and it's always fun to be around because you're always going to have people supporting you, and you always have people around asking what's going on. So it's a good thing to have.
Well, from my end, from an opposing coach, I've felt nothing but support that you guys are getting. Everybody was excited. They were all in. They really were all in. It's something as coaches you got to like when you go somewhere and you that kind of an atmosphere kind of gets you excited to play in because that's what high school football is all about. having fun, being supportive, and where the chips roll, they go. That's what you do.
Absolutely.
Coach, I am excited to be doing what I'm doing with the Short Football Report, and I will definitely be on your sidelines and covering not only your division, but you, the Monmouth Falcons. We will stay close in touch. I want to make sure I keep getting the right amount of names on my list, on my report. You have some kids that colleges are going to be looking at the next couple of years, and I'm sure there's guys coming up to the ranks because you got things rolling right there. Wishing you the best in the national division. I really do. I'm not going to see as much as if I was coaching, but but you got to be excited about this season.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this. Good luck as you continue your process with this adventure. Thank you for all that you do.
Yep. Now, your job, when this gets posted in around 3 hours, so be by noon today, you are going to take this coaches talk and you are in competition with everybody in the shore to see how many view counts you get. And right now I did 14 schools, so you'll be at least in the top 15. All right.
That helps.
And get it going. Promote it. Let everybody know about the shorefootballreport.com. For right now, it's going to have all the coaches talks on there. And during the season, we'll be doing our coverage from top to bottom, me and my staff with that. So pass the word around. I can't wait to get this uploaded and start promoting your football program, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate everything you're doing.
All right, Coach. Yep. Wishing you guys the best. Tell everybody I said hello.
Thank you. You as well.